Hey, well, today I'm angry because the little guy is getting screwed again, and this is hardly news. Every day I could do a story about the little guy getting screwed, but what we're talking about specifically is the carnage that's taking place in the financial markets today, and the fact that the little guy is getting run over again. And it's not just the little guy, it's the guy who is not part of the establishment. I'll give you an example later on of billionaires who actually got run over in the same way by the establishment, but let's focus today on the issue at hand, which is companies like GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, and Nokia. And what we're talking about is companies whose business prospects are dire, companies that are expected to be bankrupt imminently, and people sell the shares short. Now, if you don't know what short selling is, please refer to the previous video. I'll give you a brief understanding of what this concept is in about a minute and a half, and you will understand exactly what's going on in the markets today. But assuming that you know what short selling is, what has happened is you have large hedge funds who have sold these stocks short. They expect them to go to zero. And individual investors, armed with very little money individually, but huge amounts collectively, have gathered at sites like Wall Street Bets on Reddit and have focused their attention on these stocks, and they have bought them. For example, GameStop has risen from, I think, 5 to 40 to 140 to today it traded at $500 a share in the pre-market. But the real travesty is not the fact that the little guys are banding together to take on the big guys. The travesty today is that prior to the market open, all the major stock brokerage firms, even Interactive Brokers, Schwab, TD Ameritrade, restricted trading in these names, made them liquidation only. You could not buy them. You could only sell the stocks you owned. This is manipulation to declare that you can't initiate a position. How dare they? They're going to be sued. I expect that they're probably going to get away with it because they are on the establishment side. But this is typical of the way the market works these days. There are insiders and there are outsiders. And even if you are a billionaire, you can be an outsider. If you're curious about that, look back about 40, 50 years ago to when two Dallas billionaires, the Hunt brothers, tried to corner the silver market, and they did corner the silver market, which means they controlled all of the silver, but the exchange changed the rules, made it liquidation only. They weren't allowed to buy anymore. They weren't allowed to maintain their control of the silver, just as these Wall Street Bet Redditors have not been able to maintain their control over GameStop. The fact that regulators feel that they can change the rules whenever the establishment is in trouble is outrageous. I mean, I use the word outrageous fairly often on this channel, but this is beyond outrageous. This is a travesty. Yesterday's story was about how the market is broken. This just further illustrates how badly broken the market is. Yesterday I was complaining about the fact that the markets were trading so wildly. Today I'm complaining about the fact that the regulators' attempt to stop the market trading so wildly was to squash the little guy, the guy who is buying GameStop, the guy who is attempting to make money legally. The establishment has never hesitated to crush outsiders to protect its own, whether it's the Hunt brothers, whether it's the banks in the 2008 credit debacle, whether it's today, they never hesitate. Do you wonder why interest rates are zero? Do you think that maybe that is bad for savers? Do you think maybe it's good for debtors? Do you wonder who the biggest debtor in the world is? It's us. It's the US government. We owe almost $30 trillion. Interest rates are zero. The entire financial markets are a joke. And now everybody can see what a joke they are. Even worse than the markets being a joke is the fact that the little guy once again is being crushed. And how ironic that Robinhood, the preferred broker for the little guy, has now turned into a robber from the poor to give to the rich. Rich, isn't it? Please, let's wake up.